Mr. David Archie, Mr. John H. Jones Jr., and Miss Brenda R. Scott. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause for being here today. Thank you. Mr. Amos, we're going to start with you with our first question, which is on, as all of you know, the President's stimulus package passed last week. February 28th, I think, is the exact date of the passing of that. And there are three parts of that that's in the recovery package that are really good for our city, and we'll be able to participate in that. These three key recovery programs are weatherization assistance program, energy efficiency and conservation block grants, green jobs training grants. So our first question is, there are $6 billion in the recovery package to weatherize homes to make them leak less energy, which lowers utility bills, cuts carbon emissions, and requires lots of people working on lots of homes. Local weatherization budgets would now be as much as 25 times what they were in the past. Under your administration, how will weatherization money being spent in your area? How will these recovery dollars provide jobs and training opportunities to low-income people? Another question we gave you is, under a new program in the recovery package, every city, county, state, and tribe in the country will receive some portion of over $3 billion to spend on projects that reduce energy use or conserve resources. Under your administration, what will be the plan for spending this money? And the third one, the federal recovery package allocated $500 million to be given out in competitive grants for green job training programs across the country. There will be grants available for advanced skills training and for pathways out of poverty programs. As mayor, what would be your plan to prepare a winning application to the Department of Labor? How soon will you prepare to submit the application? We will start with Mr. Amos and followed by Mr. Archie. Yeah, you can stand there. And you have 2 minutes to tell us what your platform is covering these areas.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank MoveOn for having this event, well organized, and certainly a pleasure to be here today. Robert Amos again, independent candidate for mayor, and we have 2 independents here and 2 Democrats here today. Let me try to cover 3 areas of the 3 questions that she talked about. I want to talk about families, of course, first, and weatherization, and then we'll talk about city government, and finally, let's talk about jobs. Talk about families. Under my administration, we would try to provide grants anywhere between $500 and $6,500 that will help families provide upgrades such as increasing insulation, modernizing their air conditioning and cooling systems, which in turn will reduce their home utility bills that will help save money. City administration, because we're in a recession, we have to find ways to save and reduce money. Some of these ideas are, number 1, retrofitting of city buildings. Number 2, increasing recycling rates. Number 3, for city vehicles, we need to go from using diesel fuel to biodiesel fuel. These are some things that can save the city money. Jobs. One of the most important things to do when you apply for a grant is to be sure that you have a competitive application. When the Department of Labor, the Employment Training Administration, solicits these grants, we have to be sure that our administration sends out a competitive application so that we can make sure we receive those funds so we can have an open market for jobs here in the city of Jackson. I don't know how much time I have left, but I want to add this to it. I want you guys to remember who's here today. John Archie and myself will be on the final ballot June the 2nd. 78% of the people in Jackson in a study done in the paper today say they disapprove of what's going on in Jackson. Part of the reason because politicians have neglected citizens. That's what they're doing today. They didn't think this was important enough to come to. They've been doing it all along. 78% of the people in Jackson say they've been neglected. Remember that. We need to go in a new direction. I don't want to take someone else's term. We need change. We need to go in a new direction. Stop going with the dinosaur politicians. We need to make sure we have change, intelligent change, someone who will not neglect the citizens of Jackson. Thank you. Robert Amos again, independent candidate for mayor.